Well, here we have it. Game 3, and it's been all about VortiX so far. It is a French war. You've probably seen and experienced a lot of this if you're a viewer or player out there. But yeah, Nelly, that's a pretty cool upgrade. You know, I haven't seen it too much, so I have my fingers crossed that maybe we'll see that again here.
Maybe in one of the Mista games. That would be interesting. Or maybe if people go for Ruse. For Ruse, we have seen it multiple times. Because simply you kill so much hunt regardless.
Yeah, exactly. It makes more sense because you're already incentivized to do that. All right, well, Kasva in the south, still sticking in the red color. VortiX in the north, in the blue. And, but nothing really to talk about too far here, Nilly. Do you think that, like, map and resource positions are something we'll discuss more or less in Age 4? I feel like it will largely depend on the map, but...
The thing is, in H2, we have to talk about it in the first 8-9 minutes, right? So it is just such a big must. And it feels like the more people play and the more people figure out the game and how to open, the more map wins we see.
Yeah,
I think, for example, French Mirror, if you have a gold spot at the front, it's a big disadvantage against your opponent. So I think it is relatively similar.
Yeah, the big thing for me and the reason I asked it is the gold positions. So fortunately, it seems like VortiX has this gold somewhat near the back, so that's fine. Kasva's actually got 2 near the back. That's not too bad as well. But yeah, it just based on some experience, casting and viewing, I think it's a good point. Players have to know how to abuse it. They have to know how to utilize the maps, which it might not be at that stage just yet. But just like anything else, over time, people will figure it out.
Interesting approach here. VortiX, the normal French build order is 7 on food, 3 on gold. We are seeing 8 on food here and then 4 on gold.
Interesting.
So we'll be a bit quicker in that regard.
Yeah, he did. We don't have any stats that really show the idle time, and maybe it's the first Age 1 1v1 tourney, so we shouldn't be too nitpicky. But VortiX did get housed at 10 pop for like half a vil. Which, if that was Age 2, we'd be like, what are you doing? Like, come on, you played this for 10 years, so that was a little sloppy.
Did it show it, or did you actually watch the TC? Because it works differently in Age of Empires 4, right? It still finishes the whole villager.
Yeah.
It says you're housed, and it basically only blocks you at 99%, and once you finish the house, it will eject the villager.
Yeah, you know, it's a good point. I think maybe I'm caught in Age 2 brain, but I thought he was actually pop-locked, but it would make more sense that VortiX would not make that rather elementary mistake, as we see the School of Cav. Surprise, surprise for Kasva. He is on his way to the next age. And you see this a whole lot with Franks.
Also, something I really hated when I started playing Age of Empires 4 was the minimap.
Now
I kind of feel it looks so much cleaner than I thought. It just looks so confusing with all the like different white symbols.
Yeah.
But I kind of get used to it.
Well, I would say that my issue with the minimap right now is not so much in Dark Age, but it's in like the mid-game. I think it is a lot more difficult to pick up what's going on with all the various things that happen on the minimap later on in the game. But again, it's like how much of our opinions when we say we like don't like something stem from the fact we're not used to it. Like, the best example that I have to keep reminding myself of is we see Kasva reach feudal and VortiX will behind him. When I was playing the Definitive Edition beta for Age 2, I didn't like the way the units looked. And now, like, and then, you know, I got used to it, and now I look back at the old graphics, and I'm like, how did we play this? So I think there's a whole lot of that with anything new, and that's perspective we all need to try and keep in our minds.
Yeah, I was so mad how they ruined Age of Empires there.
Right.
And how I couldn't distinguish the units, and now I would never want to go back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's similar complaints with not being able to distinguish units in Age 4 right now. But, you know, that could all come with time, too. We'll see. But here comes a Royal Knight out across the map. Kasva was faster to that Royal Knight. We'll see how much of a difference that makes for him. And he's, of course, going to be queuing up more. You expect something similar from VortiX. Just double-checking here. He is making one, and he's making a blacksmith. Wow.
And you get the attack upgrade for free. Oh, in my mind, you always... just got it. Or do you need the blacksmith? You need the blacksmith. I didn't know that.
Oh, wait a sec. I thought you had it as well. But is it really that big of a deal, Nilly? Like that
29 to 30. Well, you win the 1v1 fight.
I was going to say, like, one extra attack when you have 29 base attack is not like...
Yeah, that's 29 with charge.
True,
Right?
yeah.
The base attack is lower, I believe.
I wish they did a better job of showing some of that details. I really like how, like, in Age, it has +1 or +2, so it shows you. But for now, it seems like VortiX, and I'm not sure if he spotted it, but he seems to expect Kasva. But he doesn't see Kasva right next to his gold there, Nilly. Kasva with a very sneaky knight, and oh boy, charges right in there. Immediate reaction, though, from VortiX. Still should be a villager down there, but oh, Kasva, he misjudged that. There we go, gets the villain, will run away. Oh, he runs in with another one, Nilly. This is really good for Kasva.
Nah, he lost the knight. He killed 2 villagers now.
3.
Killed 3 villagers.
I guess the question is how much is this going to snowball him in terms of numbers? Because this could always lead to a VortiX counterattack with all these numbers. Good job from VortiX. He is not chasing with 3. He's just gonna chase with 1. But Kasva's just gonna continue to do this. Kasva's got another one. He's happy to just sacrifice these knights to try and kill Vills.
Is it going to be the best plan in the long run, though? Villagers getting microed back. We now see textiles, so 75 HP instead of 25. Goes in deep. Does he want to commit?
Oh, doesn't get the kill. You're right, Nelly. This could be a problem long term here for Kasva. He's going to need some numbers. But at least he got some reward for the attack as he sends another knight over towards the deer for VortiX.
VortiX expanding at the front here, built an outpost next to his deer. We'll try to deal with the knight at the left-hand side again. And eco should be better for Kasva. We have 28 villagers for him. VortiX is sitting on 25.
Okay, so good to know that they've kept the TCs working and all the important details we normally assume. But I could feel the counterattack happening now, right? VortiX finally confident to push out across the map. It feels like with something like a Royal Knight, it's so expensive. Maybe diving for 1 or 2 Vil picks might not end up being worth it in the long run.
And those knights have lots of HP, while Kasva was microing them back quite nicely, but still didn't get Chivalry, so can't really heal up, doesn't have the gold right now.
Chivalry, such an insane upgrade here. But he does have the numbers at home. Like, if he needed them, he would have them here. So you've got to think Chivalry's probably going to come in here shortly. I forget the cost of that, actually.
50 wood, 125 gold. Oh,
he should get it
so
soon,
he
then.
had enough gold. Yeah, I think it's such a crucial upgrade to get now.
I also don't think it's an upgrade that should be in Feudal Age.
Yeah, I think it's so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
I saw a post that was like, yeah, but historically, Chivalry was in the Feudal Age. And,
yeah, then it should do something else.
yeah, exactly. We need to change the upgrade then. As you see a whole lot of this right here. It didn't take long for this meta to develop. I'm excited to see what VortiX can do with a little bit of momentum. He will not be able to take a straight-up fight against Kasva's units right now, but maybe he can split up some units. Or just catch Kasva off guard, because when you're sitting back like this, you're prone to make some mistakes or be surprised a little bit.
13 villagers on gold now. Kasva is moving out, goes for more deer at the other side. Kasva fighting this army is so good for him.
Oh, that's a great find right there. Yeah, VortiX was looking for an opening, wasn't able to find the opening. And now Kasva feeling good, I'm sure. I'm trying to see if there's really anything else, they could switch into here, Nilly, but I think it will come as no surprise. We're just going to see a whole lot of Royal Knights. And Kasva's going to chase that whole army down as well. Oh, great fight for Kasva here.
Oh yeah, VortiX, that's a knight loss he should have never had to suffer from. And now needs to disengage, goes in for another raid. Woodline relatively exposed at the front, Tristan.
Ooh, yep. Yep, he's going to have 3 here. Kasva feeling good. This is when VortiX comes in to surprise him, and this could maybe even out the Vil count. We'll see what the reaction is for Kasva. Kasva loses 2. Not the end of the world, but good job from VortiX, as he also was able to free up his Royal Knights and send them back to his base. That's important too.
35 versus 34 villages, 8 military for VortiX. Kasva sits on 11, so better knight number for Kasva.
Yeah. It's just this big group. I'm looking at it as it heads over towards VortiX's base, and I'm just like, how do you stop that many? You'd expect VortiX to maybe have some reinforcements show up at home here. He is not thinking too offensively right now, VortiX, so he's happy to get those kills. And now he's bracing himself for this attack. And he's bringing everything home. He's healing up with Chivalry. And Kasva's still waiting. Maybe just doing some things at home right now. But still not really showing himself to VortiX. The VortiX expects it.
Yeah, nice positioning there by VortiX. I think he has too many farms, though. Yeah, they're nice and close. But they cost wood. Plus, they're extremely slow compared to other food.
Yeah, defender's advantage here for VortiX. Great job. And Nilly, I'm like getting really excited right now because it felt like the previous game was a little lackluster. And I missed out in the first game too. So this is a nice game here. I'm liking it as it goes back and forth. And yeah, talk to me a little bit more about the farm thing. I want to hear your thoughts on that as we have Kasva on the left.
Well, obviously farms do cost wood, right? In Age of Empires 4, they never run out though, so it's a one-time investment, but food income simply slower than, for example, deer, which we still see some at the front. So maybe sending some more villagers there could have been an option, but obviously they would be exposed.
It looks like both players parting ways on the right, and good defense here again from VortiX as he's going to go back to deer. Yeah, maybe he feels that transitioning into farms alongside some of the other food eco is just better in the long term. I could definitely see that. But, oh man, I'm wondering if this is fully walled. You know, it's a little tricky to figure it out. I feel like it's still possible for Kasva to run around in the north.
And he won't see. Let's see. Kasva, it feels like he clicked in.
Yeah, I think he did. And this means VortiX is kind of assuming an awful lot here. He thinks the wall is going to be enough for him. It is not enough for him. Now, there's not a ton of vills here, but if he hits the berries or the gold, I mean, okay, I take it back. There's a ton of vills there. So we have an attack for VortiX.
Attack at the backside. That's really big for VortiX as well. Found, I would think, like 5 villager kills. How many is he suffering now at home?
Wow, maybe 1 or 2? I mean, I'm just impressed with the reaction here because he was also defending his hunt at the same time. But Kasva's got so many knights here, Nilly. And it's a bit of a base trade here. Look at this. It's like both players can't easily defend themselves. Wow.
Now they're really taking off the gloves here. And villagers at the wood have to be pulled. So many knights under VortiX TC.
I mean, you could say the same for Kasva. This is nuts. I mean, the big difference for me right now is the numbers, like you said. But VortiX at least does have some additional units that he could maybe send another wave forward with. Kasva didn't have anything at home there, Nilly, and now we need to check the idols and everything. We've got like 28 villagers for VortiX. And Kasva is at 25-ish? Wow, it's still so close.
25-ish. We can get 38, actually.
I got that way wrong.
You can find this out. Okay.
Yeah, I got that way wrong. Sorry, I looked at the wrong the wrong area.
But still, more knights for VortiX then, right? We have 12 knights for Kasva, and VortiX is sitting on 10. So actually a good lead for Kasva. And guess what? It worked out once. Why not raid there twice?
Yeah, and I guess VortiX is a little distracted. He didn't think maybe send a Vill over there. I like that from Kasva. I like the lack of hesitation here and just forcing reactions constantly. And oh, man, what an attack. Ouch, man, that's huge. You've got the idle time, you've got the Vill losses, and you don't have a proper counterattack coming across for VortiX. This is amazing for Kasva.
Oh yeah, yes, love this. Absolutely. 40 population now for VortiX. Kasva is sitting on 54 and will find more villager kills.
Yeah, and he'll be happy with that. And since he's got knights and he's got a horse as well, he can just run away. You know, he could just end up running right out of here. Doesn't have to stress too much. And this is definitely the spot of the game where you start to think, in theory, granted, Kasva's got a bunch of idols constantly. In theory, Kasva should be able to make more knights as he also hits the area on the left near the outpost.
Where are those villagers going now? That could be a really, really risky mill. And what are those wild farms here? Holy moly.
Wild farms? Hello? Hey, I assume you're talking about Kasva?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's a fine farm, Neely. I don't have the efficiency stats for AoE4 yet, but that's fine.
Okay. If you allow it, I will allow it as well.
Thank you, Nilly. And I'll allow skirmisher counterattacks. How's that sound?
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, now build a mill next to a boar. And boars are very different in Age of Empires 4 compared to Age of Empires 2. I'm not sure if those are actually winning.
I mean,
sent a knight as well.
yeah,
okay,
I think he's going to be fine. I can see what you mean about taking a risk there, right? I mean, he has the lead right now. If he were to lose those villagers, it could be a mistake for him. But here he comes, charging in, and all great fight from Kasva. I love the patience. Also love the throaty screams from these knights as they go into the attack. That's sick stuff.
Placing down the knights. And 16 knights here. We see VortiX running away with only 10 knights. Production simply won't be that great. So many farms by him already. Holy moly, 16 farms.
That's a lot of farms. I mean, he's not going for the boar. You know, he's not going to take that risk. He's not in a position to take it either, Nilly. He's feels like he's unable to take his deer. He actually has a villager inside. I believe it's a villager. Or is that a spearman inside?
Yeah, actually, yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, that won't be enough to defend his... That outpost will go down, and that guy didn't even want to fight. That's funny.
And that's something he really needed for the defense. Now goes for another barracks at home. The defensive outpost. That barracks likely to fall. And Kasva doing all the right moves to keep himself ahead. But the counterattack is the big question here.
Yeah, it's like you have this whole army here, and if you're not seeing army from VortiX, you kind of feel like you need to push because he's coming to your base. And that's what Kasva will do. I think he's making the right call here, Nilly, to take this fight, and he will brace himself at home. And even though the spearmen are in some ways cost-efficient long-term, there's just not enough. Numbers is the biggest thing. And here comes VortiX's attack. And Kasva doesn't have a lot at home, but he was able to hop some into the outpost. He actually has so many outposts. He could just play defensively that way.
Yeah, really good job there for sure. And I think we might see VortiX going down to like 25 villages, 20 in the TC, 5 in the tower, and that's kind of it. And
wow,
guess what? We see a tap out.
Yeah, series continues here. And I don't know if you see these Royal Knights. They did like a weird little ring around the rosy. But Kasva seemed a lot better in that situation there. It started off with, I think, getting to feudal age faster and getting the Royal Knights out faster. Simply, he had those 2 villager kills, and yes, he did lose a Royal Knight or 2 immediately after that, but then he had the numbers at home. So the meta seems fairly established for a French war on Arabia. You just make Royal Knights, you try and out-eco and out-knight the opponent. Kasva did that, and well played, Kasva.
Yeah, really love that. And I think it was really unfortunate for VortiX. Maybe at one point we can go and analyze that one again in his point of view. And that night, I have no idea how that one slipped through the gold.
I know. It was just like right along the edge of the map. He even expected it. He even had his army there. But unfortunately, it wasn't really good enough for him. And then it was just one after the other for Kasva. Now, that is like, if we're going to be comparing it to Age of Empires 2, which I think at times we should, we do come from Age 2 after all, that is unique, because if you think of a scout war in Age 2, one scout going into the gold like that when there's 2 or 3 scouts from the opponent, that's just not a thing, right? But Royal Knights are so good at killing Vills that it makes sense in that situation.
347 as a feudal age timing. That was just really fast.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I remember like sub 4-minute timings there a lot.
Okay. Well, Kasva did open up the series with French, so I think he, like many players, probably practiced them the most, and he had something figured out there, that's for sure.